Hey guys, Tanya here. I have a project to share with you today. We are going to repurpose some picture frames today. We've got some frames that were given to me secondhand that were sturdy and big, but really dated. And so I wanted to update them to use them in my home. I really like the things that function in my home to be beautiful as well, so that I can use them as decor. If that's important to you, you might want to check this out. So we started with some secondhand frames. We grabbed all our supplies. We used Degreaser, a Scotch pad. We used Schnubs paint in sailor's coat, a sponge sander, a roller brush, and a tray. And then I put a drop cloth down over my table and some wood boards to kind of raise my things up. Everything but the drop cloth and the boards can be found in our Schnubs premium kit that you can find online at schnubs.com. First, you're going to spray everything down with the degreaser. That's going to get all your gunk and grime off, and for these frames in particular, they have a shiny gold surface over the top, and the degreaser really helped take that down too, so that the Schnubs would adhere to the frames. So we sprayed the degreaser and then scrubbed it down with the Scotch pad, taking a lot of that gold finish off completely. After it was all scrubbed down, I wiped it off the excess and let the frame sit for about 10 minutes just to really let that finish dull with the degreaser that was that little film that was left on there after wiping it off. Once the degreaser set for about 10 minutes, we make sure the frame is all dry and then apply our first coat of paint. Once again, you're going to want to stir your paint, not shake your paint to avoid air bubbles. You're going to make sure that your roller has lots of paint on it. You want to make sure that it's not too dry, but with a project like this that's not completely flat, you also don't want it too wet. Because of the self-leveling agent of the paint, it will run a little bit, and if you have surfaces that are sloped, it will run down the hills and into the valleys and settle. Pull the paint onto your project and cover all the surfaces. It's not going to be all the way covered. It might be more translucent, but that's fine. Get everything covered and then let it dry. It's going to dry for about 30 minutes. During that drying time, because this is a frame and not flat, again, I had some areas that were dripping. If you have drips in your project, you can take your roller and roll over them lightly as your project is in the first 5 minutes of drying. If you continue to roll over, I tend to want to mess with it while it's drying. If you mess with it too much while it's drying, you're going to mess up some of those leveling processes that it has and leave some texture. So leave your project alone and let it dry for about 30 minutes, and I promise it will smooth out. That is one of the perks of this paint, is that it will do that job for you. I have to remind myself, don't touch it, because it's easy to want to play around and make sure it's going level, but just leave it be and it will do its thing. After it's dried, you're going to take your sanding sponge and sand over that first coat, again to get a little bit of roughness so that the second coat will adhere to the first and create a good solid coverage for your project. Take your roller out of the plastic. You can put it in a baggie in between coats so it doesn't dry out. So take that out, get it good and wet, and do your second coat all around the frames. After your second coat is dry, you're going to check the project and see if you have any areas that need more coverage. If it needs more coverage, take your finishing sponge and sand it down again and do a third coat. If you feel like 2 coats is sufficient coverage, then you're done painting. Once you are sufficiently satisfied with the coverage on your project, you're ready to put it all together. I used some craft paper from a roll of art paper from IKEA to fill in the back of my frame, so I had a nice surface. Put your glass back in, put everything back together, and hang it, and it's ready to be a dry erase board. Thanks for watching our video. Please like and subscribe and follow us in all the ways so that you can see more of our videos. If you have any questions or comments, you can put them down below. And as always, check out schnubs.com, see where you can get your own Schnubs kit.